for your group project. So far semua boleh access kan, and make sure the link that I provided is your group's link jangan ambil link orang lain atau group lain. These are the questions. Today we will discuss tutorial answers on PET sample. Dan satu lagi adalah chi-square. Okay, this is the mass lecture. So I go to your tutorial team. So is me atau someone you didn't put the questions here? Right, chapter 5. So ada beberapa soalan kan. So yeah, you have to, if possible, you put the questions here. You copy from the mass lecture and then put here. Yeah, otherwise, I have to every time I have to go to the mass lecture. Okay, so we already have here PET sample. Okay, anyone sample to sample. Okay, you put it under. Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah. Now we have this PET sample. We start with PET sample. And then for the tutorial, look at the first group. First group. Kumpulan pertama, Yana, Dia, and Karina for the answer on PET sample. So I refer to
Nik Maliana.
Okay. Okay, you can. Before we look at the answers from the group, maybe we can look at the question here. Okay, for PET sample, you see there are 3 questions. So first question, using of higher education performance. And this is the thing that you need to investigate, right? So test for a difference. So for a difference tu maksudnya in the alternative hypothesis, you need to have not equal sign, right? So yang ni senang aja. So in the mean score of writing and reading in all school district. Okay. So number 2, order fulfillment picking process change. So this is you have to do a little bit of thinking as how do you construct your alternative hypothesis. Okay, the question is, does the new picking process improve the picking rate of the pickers? So you have to look at the situation, right? And then you need to decide whether you have to put the greater sign or the left-hand sign, but definitely not this sign, not equal to bukan this sign. And for question number 3, crime index test for a difference, right? Kita nak check difference in the means crime index for these 2 years, right? These 2 years. And we know that this is the PET sample because these 2 years represent the crime rates. Jumlah crime rate itu satu adalah in 2022, and our one is 2023. So this is the match data. So kita akan guna PET sample analysis to analyze the hypothesis. Yeah. Okay, we go to the first question and the answer. We have the Okay, from the data, you have the writing and reading from the same source. And the source adalah you have 31 elements, right? So I think this is based on the district and district. The writing for this particular district and then the reading for the particular district. Altogether, you have 31 districts out of 31 area. And yeah, so you need to use the PET sample. Okay, and betul. Analysis first, you're gonna betul, yeah. And then, yeah, take a look at the hypothesis. Okay, kumpulan ni, Mariana, you see hypothesis ni, this is your mu D, right? You need to define what is your mu D, right? So yang ni alternative hypothesis, also you need to put mu D, right? Yeah, so you have to define that mu D equals 1, right? So the mean difference between writing and reading, right? So atau your difference is reading and writing, atau writing and reading, right? So you're gonna tulis lah, define there. And then, yeah, this is your significance level. If you have this sign again in your alternative hypothesis, then you should refer to p-value and critical value to here, right? Gonna refer yang ini. And from this t-test, right, your t-test, you compare with critical value, so your decision is reject each one, right? Since your CV is greater than your CV is less than the test statistic, so decision reject each one. Yeah. So you need to. As for p-value, so you refer to this, your p-value compared with alpha. You also get the decision also correct. So lastly, you need to conclude there's a significant evidence to support the alternative hypothesis. So this means that it is significance difference in the mean scores of writing and reading. Yeah, so you need to. Okay, so far, do you have any questions on this? Any betul, yeah? Okay, we look at the group that has the same question, right? Group 3 and the last one 3. Okay, group 4, saya refer siapa? Who's 9? Your question 1, answer. Group 4, Husna. Okay, Siti Nur Husna, kan? Husnaida. Is this the one?
Yes.
Okay. That's sample. Okay, you have all the questions here. Yeah, you have the mean. Yeah, you define it as mean scores. And then difference is reading minus writing. And this is the hypothesis. Yeah, you need to use this hypothesis because these two are referring to the same source. Kan? So this is the PET sample. And writing and reading is not the independent data. Yeah, it is based on the same source, right? So mu d is equal to 0. This, yeah, correct. And then you refer to the two sample, or I mean two tails, yeah, p-value and critical value. Yeah. Did you notice what's the difference between Hana group dengan yang Husna? You see, yang Husna dia dapat negatif kan? Why? Because Husna punya group dia guna reading minus writing. Probably Hana's punya group dia guna writing tolak dengan reading. So semua boleh ya, asalkan you define it correctly. So you can use both way. Tak kira lah nak guna reading minus writing ke writing minus reading. So dia punya output adalah sama. Yang beza adalah dia punya t-test tu ada either positive value atau negative value. But the coefficient kan, kita absolutkan dia, coefficient adalah sama, right? So if this is negative, right? So you take the modulus and you still find that your division is a reject issue, right? So result yang consistent, yeah? And p-value, right? So this is the division. Conclusion. Okay, so that means based on this hypothesis, the writing, yeah, the mean writing and reading scores have significant difference, right? Yeah, right. Yeah. So far, anyone has question on? Have anything to ask on question 1? Any done this? Okay, no question. Then we go to question number 2. Kumpulan ISMI. Saya refer ISMI punya kan? Ke ada kawan lain? Ke Azra atau Zuri? Which one?
ISMI, madam.
ISMI. Okay. You dah discuss kan, Azra? And then ISMI yang letak jawapan kan?
Yes, madam.
Okay, good then. Cut sample. Oh, okay. Yeah. Kalau soalan macam ni kan, I said before, this is definitely not you don't definitely not the equal sign in the alternative hypothesis, right? Sebab yang ni dia tak tanya berkaitan dengan apa the picking rate kan, before and after tu adalah different, right? So you cannot put this sign in the alternative hypothesis. So we look at the question again. If you look at question 1 and question 3 kan, so they are the tests for a difference, right? So maksudnya kita nak tahu adakah crime index in 2022 and 23 adalah tidak sama, right? So you have to put the difference atau not equal sign in the alternative hypothesis. For question 1 also the same. Test for a difference in the mean score of writing and reading. Yang ni kita dah lihat tadi. So nak soalan dia kita nak check sama ada for each of the element kan atau each of the district dia punya writing and reading scores adalah berbeza. So you need to put this sign in your alternative hypothesis. But for this one, question number 2, dia punya scenario adalah macam yang saya bagi when we look at the improvement kan atau effectiveness of the slimming course atau effectiveness of the tuition class, right? So yani you cannot put that not equal sign in the alternative hypothesis, right? So does the new picking process improve the picking rate? Okay, we'll come back to Ismi's punya jawapannya. So let's look at the other group. See what's the answer. Kumpulan 5. Ideal? Jawapan dekat ideal ke?
Yeah. Yeah, madam.
Okay. Chi-square ni. Macam mana? Oh, this is chi-square kan? Okay. Okay, ideal buat semua ya. Okay. So let's see what is. Okay. Okay, does the new picking process improve the picking rate of the pickers? Yeah, maybe I have to, yeah, we look at the data first, yeah. So kita check some other ideas punya ni. Kita check ideas punya jawapan. One moment, please. I need to get the data. Okay. So whether I have the one moment. Yeah, I've checked ideas punya dah betul. Cuma I need to get the data ya. So that you all boleh nampak juga dia punya cara kita nak decide ya. Whether you need to put greater than atau less than in the alternative hypothesis. In fact, you boleh letak dua-dua depending on how you define your difference. Yeah. Okay. So what is the file name already? Yeah. Picking process. Is it picking process? Order fulfillment, right? What's the, saya tak tulis scenario kan? Yeah, I just give you this one, right? Okay, wait. So I didn't write down the scenario. Am I? So yang ni you all dapat ni kan? Okay, order fulfillment picking process changed. I think I write it somewhere. Okay, say kita ada pickers, right? We have the pickers, maksudnya orang yang memetik buah ini, right? And then this is the picking rate of the pickers before the new technology is introduced, after the new equipment is introduced. Okay, and then this is the picking rate after the new equipment has been introduced, right? So kita ada before and after, and this is the pickers. Orang yang memetik buah, contohlah kita memetik buah kan. So this is before the new machine is introduced. So this is the picking rate, and then this is the picking rate after the new equipment has been introduced. Okay, so go back to the question. So that is new picking process improve, right? Yeah. So kalau new technology, then that means it involves the new process. So does the new picking process improve the picking rate of the pickers? Okay, so we want to check whether the new technology has improved the situation, improved the picking rate of the pickers, right? So kumpulan ideal, you have this mu, right? You define your mu as mean picking rate of the pickers, okay? And then the difference is you take after minus before, right? After minus before. So we assume that if this picking rate of the pickers have improved, right? Kalau dah improve kan. So maksudnya maksudnya the rate after the new process has been introduced mestilah lebih tinggi daripada the rate before, right? So kalau if you take this after minus before, so you'll get the positive value. That means kalau kita ambil formula after minus before, you will get the positive value. So positive value means you will have the sign greater than 0, right? So that is what you need to put in your alternative hypothesis. So ini betul. Yeah, since you put this in your alternative hypothesis, the null hypothesis should be mu d is less than or equals to 0. Okay, kumpulan ideal. One thing that I want you to take note is for this null hypothesis, kita bukan letak equal sign. Yeah, usually kita letak macam ni, right? Yang ni bukan equal sign sebab kalau yang ni equal sign, yang ni adalah sign macam ni, so it's a little bit confused kan? So this one you can have equal sign, but for null hypothesis, kita biasa letak ni. Mungkin saya laju sangat, you all nampak macam equal, right? So yang ni, yeah. So this line is correct, right? And if you draw the distribution, you will have this one tail to the right, right? One tail to the right. That's why you have, this t-type is positive. Okay, kalau lah, if any one of you can, you can take the difference, you define your difference as before minus after. Okay, kalau you define macam ni, so your mu d will be less than 0, right? Kalau you define macam ni, yeah. If you define your d as before minus after, so maksudnya kita punya kalau proses ni berkesan, so dia punya peaking rate after the new process yang introduced lebih tinggi daripada before. So kalau kita ambil before yang kecil tolak dengan after yang besar, so kita punya simbol akan jadi negative, right? So you have less than 0. Okay, for null hypothesis, you can put mu d, either you put this sign, right? Or you can also have equal sign. Boleh kan? For critical value approach, your CV is compared with test statistic. So you need to look at the one tail saja, right? Not two tail. Okay, and your critical value 1.79 compared with 8.512. So your decision is reject H4. And this is also the same. So that is sufficient evidence to support the alternative hypothesis. The new picking process is significantly improved. Yeah, improving the picking rate of the pickers. Excuse me. Yeah, so this is correct. Okay, so ada siapa nak tanya berkaitan dengan yang ini? Kumpulan ISMI, Azra, you all ada soalan nak tanya atau kumpulan lain? Yeah, maybe you have already tried this. Yeah. So if ideal kumpulan ideal that menggunakan method ini di mana your demand your difference is after minus before, so you get this hypothesis result, right? If the other group you define in this way, so your demand is before minus after. Then you'll find that your t-test ni dia sama juga nilai 8.51, cuma dia ada negatif kat depan. Yang tu lah beza dia. Yeah. Any questions? Can we move on?
Yes, madam, move on.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Kumpulan Ideal, do you have any, kumpulan ISMI, you all have any question? So mungkin ISMI, you have to make amendment on this, right? Make correction. Okay, so only two groups that answer question 2. Okay, now we go to question number 3. So question 3 also quite easy sebab dia punya question is to check for the difference, kan? So you need to put not equal sign in the alternative hypothesis. So now we look at kumpulan 3. Ya, Mira, Faiza and Humaira. Yang mana satu?
Mira, madam.
Mira. Okay. Mira. Two. Okay, this is the result. You need to use PET to sample. Yeah, this is you look at, as I mentioned before, crime rate kan walaupun dia tahun yang berbeza, but they are from the same location, right? Okay, the question is test to for a difference in the mean crime index for 2022 and 2023. Excuse me. So yeah, Mira, your punya group kan, you're gonna define lah your mu D is what, and then only you write mu D, right? So this is your hypothesis. Okay, your significance level, right? Yeah, because you have not equal sign in your alternative hypothesis, so you refer to two-tail, right? Your t-test is 0.14, and your critical value of t for two-tail is 2.16, right? Yang mana satu ya? Yeah, you don't have to do this. Where's your decision? You buat macam ni, critical value compare with your test statistic, right? So kenapa you have to use this plus minus? Yeah, this is 2 point. Yeah, you just write. Yeah, why fail to reject HO di sini? Yeah, you have to say sebab you don't put any sign kan. Here you have critical value 2.16 and your test statistic is 0.144, right? So critical value is larger, so decision, yeah, this is for P value approach. So decision here is do not reject HO, or fail to reject HO. So this one also based on P value approach can fail to reject HO. Your P value you have 0.88. At 5% significance level, there is no evidence to conclude that there's a significant difference in the mean crime index between 2022 to 2023. Yeah, there is no evidence. Yeah. So kalau you nak tulis macam ni, so there is no evidence to conclude that that is a significant difference. So tak ada bukti yang cukup untuk menyatakan ada perbezaan, ada significant perbezaan between the crime rates in 2022 to 2023. So this is how you define. Okay, and so next is we go to kumpulan Mira dan Okay, this one done. Kumpulan 6, kumpulan Umar.
Yes, madam.
So saya refer Umar ke apa?
Yes.
Okay. Umar. Yang mana satu? Pet sample.
Pet sample dekat Harni, madam.
Harni.
Harni.
Okay. Yang ni ke? Honey, I don't get that. Honey, are you there? You didn't show your result, your output. Honey, are you there? So yang ni hipotesis pun kalau pet sample kan. Oh, kalau saya tengok sini relationship between gender and type of the cell phone, yang ni bukan. This is not pet sample, right? Gender and type of cell phone. Yang ni macam yang kita buat hands on untuk chi-square, right? So Hani, is this your tutorial? Yeah, I don't think so. Other than that, siapa lagi yang ada kumpulan you all? In Jana? Yang mana? Yang Hani tu dekat mana? Kumpulan 6 kan? Omar? Hani ada dalam sini
Yes, madam. Yang Ehal.
Oh, tu Hani lah. Okay. Yeah. So kalau yang ni you gonna you have to correct make correction on this. Yeah, totally different from the question. Right? Kumpulan Omar? Okay, we have done pet sample. Any questions before we proceed to chi-square? Kalau tak ada, then we go to chi-square. Okay, thank you for the response. So we look at chi-square now. Tutorial question. I have this. Okay, we are done. Pet sample. Pet sample done. We discussed it on 19/11/25. Right. Okay, for chi-square. Look at this question. As mentioned before, so we will discuss this 1, 2, 3. If you have time, then we look at the chapter 5. If you have already tried and you have questions, because I intend to discuss this in after your mid-sem break, right? Okay, so there are 3 data sets for the chi-square, right? First is using e-games survey, and this e-game, the question is, does if gender and the type of e-games are related? So biasanya kalau untuk chi-square, dia punya data tu dalam bentuk kategori atau dia dalam bentuk teks tak ada nilai. So you have to go through the process, that we learned the other day, right? So sekarang kita nak lihat kan, for this first data, nak check whether gender and type of e-games are related. Contohnya, for example, female, mereka lebih suka main PUBG, male lebih suka main Mobile Legends, itu contoh ya. So we want to see whether gender and the type of games are related. Okay, for question number 2, determine whether the brand preferences and gender are related. So di sini energy drinks there are three preferences, three brand preferences. Ada A, B, C, and then want to see whether gender, for example, can male will prefer a certain type of the brand, on the energy drinks. So whether these two are related. So yang kita perlu check. And number three, there are two questions here, right? So determine whether gender and usage of cell phones are related. So maksudnya ini kita nak check whether male atau female lebih khusus kepada usage of certain cell phone in the data, right? And then the second one is gender and the type of cell phones are related. So type of cell phone usage tu maksudnya berapa lama dia gunakan. And then the type of the cell phone, apa jenis, whether it is high end atau low end, for example, right? Yeah. And you'll find that all this data is in the category form. Tak ada yang numerical. So we cannot use the means to calculate. Kita tak boleh guna average. Sebab semua data ni adalah dalam bentuk category. So that's why you need to run the chi-square analysis instead. Okay, so now we look at kumpulan yang pertama, back to question 1. Group 1, chi-square, right? So this time I refer to
Nik Maliana, madam.
okay, masih lagi Nik Mariana. Is this the one? Ya, kalau you all lihat dia punya data kan, so you have gender, male, female, and then type of e-games too. You ada you have this PUBG, Dota 2, FIFA 19, and satu lagi Mobile Legend, right? So you need to use chi-square. For chi-square, there are 4 steps involved, right? You can run for the 4 steps. So Mariana, you didn't show the 4 steps. You kena tunjuklah setiap step kan. Okay, first the gender and the type of e-games are independent. Okay. So first of all, you have to write the correct hypothesis, and then significance level. So this one I'm not sure because I didn't see your result. Yeah. So you're gonna tunjuk ya. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and step 4. So kalau ada soalan yang dia dah ada table, so you can skip step 1, right? Terus kepada step 2, di mana you have the observed frequency, and then next is expected frequency, and the last table is on the chi-square test statistic, right? So kena tunjuk satu-satu. And say for example, this is your, what is this ya? You didn't write, this is observed frequency ke apa? Right? Mariana, your group ya, so kena tulis dengan jelas. Okay, hypothesis dah betul. Cuma yang this one I need to look at it. Yeah. In you follow the flow lah, follow the sequence, follow the steps. Okay, in the exam ke, in the group project ke, you kena tunjuk steps juga, right? So I put here. So yang ni kena buat correction ya, Q1 correction. Ya, you all kena buat correction lah kalau mungkin esok atau next week kan. So kalau saya ada perubahan dekat sini, so semua ni akan lari. But if I widen the the space kan, so dia akan lari. So please take note, dalam minggu ni, if I ask you to make correction, so you have to do it in that week also. Sebab next week tu mungkin semua ni dah lain kan. Okay. So satu lagi group yang ada for chi-square. So chi-square question 1, kumpulan 4. Also Husna,
Atikah, madam.
Atika. Okay. So Atika is no Atika. Oh, okay. Atika yang ni saja kan. Okay. Chi-square. Now you have to show this the step, right? Okay, first step is because you have the raw data in raw data dalam data set kan. So you have to come up with the pivot table. So from pivot table you just copy and then you get your observed frequency. And then from this step 2, you copy the table and then you calculate your expected frequency, right? And then lastly, you can, based on step 3, you copy the table and then you delete everything. Then that will be your chi-square test statistic. So you follow formula, right? Any other formula? Expected frequency pun ada formula there. Okay, and yeah. So your hypothesis, now gender and the type of games are independent, are dependent. Okay. And yeah, this is your test statistic, right? Chi-square test statistic. Your chi-square critical value is greater. Okay, so your decision when using the critical value, do not reject. Yeah. So your p-value approach must be also consistent, right? So do not reject. So there is no significant difference to conclude that gender and the type of games are dependent. Yeah. Sebab yang ni you dah tulis no significance kan. So you to conclude that, yeah, this one. So correct. Betul ya secara ini. Okay. Let's say if you have questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, I just proceed, continue saja to look at your answers. Okay, then now we go to question number 2. Group 2, kumpulan ISMI. Saya lihat ISMI juga kan? Is it ISMI juga? We have chi-square. Okay, the brand preference and gender are independent. The brand preference and gender are dependent, right? So kalau if you don't want to write independent, dependent, you can say null hypothesis, the brand preference and gender are not related. Alternative, the brand's preferences and gender are related. Convertible. Okay, your alpha, you ambil 5%. So step 1, you from step 1, because this is in the huge data juga. So number of the brands for the respective male and female kan. So you have to use pivot table. So bila kita dah dapat maklumat ni dari pivot table, so kita just copy part of it right dari sini untuk jadikan dia sebagai observed frequency, right? And then dari sini kita calculate the expected frequency, and lastly you calculate the chi-square, right? I assume that you have used the correct formulas, yeah. Okay, degree of freedom 2 minus 1 row adalah 2. Columns you have 3 minus 1. So degree of freedom is 2. So you need this to when you want to calculate the critical value, right? So your test statistic 6.4. Your chi-square critical value. Yeah. So based on this, your decision is reject each one. Okay, your chi-square p-value is 0.04, right? So p-value also, yeah, based on p-value decision also reject each or. So that means the brand preference and gender are dependent, right? Yeah, correct. So senang aja kan, chi-square. As long as you you are familiar with the steps, so nak buat tu adalah senang. So this time it means yang ni tak betul ya. So this one correct. Yeah, this one you need to make correction. Yeah, Q1. Okay, next we look at yang tadi Husna punya pun dah betul. Okay, group 5. Siapa? Ideal. Is it ideal? Jawapan dari ideal kan? I go
Yeah.
straight to ideal. Chi-square. So this is tutorial. Question number 2. Is this the one? Yeah, energy drink. So determine whether the brand preference and gender are, yeah, ideal. This one sedikit mistake kat sini, sedikit correction to make. Nampak ke ideal?
Nampak ni.
So yang ni adalah are not, right? Are not related. So, yang ni bukan hypothesis lagi Determine whether the brand preference. Okay, I thought this is your hypothesis. So maksudnya this is not yet your hypothesis. Okay, I just delete. Okay, this is just your question. Can determine whether, okay, so you have step 1, step 2. Step 3. Well, let me check yang tadi. You also have 100, so small 100. Okay, for ideals group. And then chi-square, yes. Degree of freedom. Right, so yang ni you calculate siap-siap dulu. Okay, so your brand are independent, are dependent. Okay, correct. Critical value. Your critical value is 0.997. Tadi yang ISMI punya berapa? Can't remember. Okay, I have to go back to kumpulan ISMI. Yeah, how come yang ni critical value chi-square? ISMI punya dah betul 5.991. Ideal kenapa you dapat yang lain sedikit? Yeah, ideal maybe you can check. Your critical value, yang ni ideal. Right? Kena check betul tak you guna formula dia.
Ya, ada.
Yeah, supposed to be 5.99 something yang sama dengan ISMI, right? Okay, and test statistic, yeah. So walaupun yang ni tak betul tapi your decision is correct, yeah, because you compare your test statistic and this one should be larger than the critical value. So decision. Just like this one, you have to check, yeah. Make sure you dapat yang betul juga. Okay, conclusion, there is sufficient evidence to support the alternative hypothesis. The brand preferences and gender are dependent. Okay, right. Yeah. So you need to make correction and check dia punya function ya for critical value. Right. Yeah, chi-square ya. Chi-square critical value. And then next we look at, okay, this one done. Question number 2. The ideal. Yeah. Okay, we go to question 3. Kumpulan ketiga, Mira, Faiza dengan Humaira. Arifah siapa? Masih lagi Miss Mira?
Mira, madam.
Okay. We look at. Okay, untuk chi-square. Okay, step 1. Step 2, step 3. Expected. Step 4 is your test statistic, chi-square. And the mean response. Yeah, Mira, and we have chi-square ni kan no longer mean kan, kita tak ada mean nak calculate sebab semua dalam kategori. So you can say that maybe I open the data. So this is on cell phone. Chi-square. Okay, this is cell phone. You see, gender and cell phone usage kan, yang Mira punya. So you see gender semua dalam male and female, and then phone usage also dalam kategori. So semua dalam kategori. Kita tak ada lagi mean. You cannot calculate the mean, right? So this is how you write your hypothesis lah. Tak ada mean lagi ya. Now hypothesis, gender and cell phone usage are not related. Alternative hypothesis, gender and cell phone are related, right? And then when I calculate, I got only 1.6. Yang Mira punya macam mana? Markah is different. Yeah, you punya markah lagi besar. You punya nilai is larger. So you have 52, then yeah, mine also 52. But I got only for chi-square, that's statistic, and I got 1.6 saja, 1.6. And chi-square critical value 7.8. So very different, right? Yeah, maybe I check for another group. So Mira, do you know what's going on here? What's the problem? Make sure you use the correct steps kan, dan dia punya function adalah betul juga. Okay, ada siapa yang dah buat? Mungkin boleh check juga jawapannya. Okay, kumpulan 3. So next is kumpulan Omar. Ya, Omar? Saya refer Omar ke Hani?
Ada dekat saya.
Okay, Omar. So chi-square. Ya, Omar dapat 1.6 Okay, handphone usage kan. So gender and usage of cell phone are not related, and the two are related. Okay, when I calculate, so I got 1.6. Your critical value is this. So test statistic compared with critical value, so decision failed to reject HO, p-value failed to reject HO. So there is no significant relationship between gender and usage of cell phone. Yeah. I see, check here. So 1.6, 7.8, ya, betul. Kali ini betul ya. Now you can say that there is sufficient evidence to support the alternative hypothesis, whereby gender and usage of cell phone are related, right? Okay, so kumpulan Mira, you all kena tengok balik lah yang ni. Boleh ke Mira? Your group?
Boleh, Madam.
Okay, so ini part of it, correct? Kita lihat yang kumpulan Omar. Okay, this one you have to correct ya. 3, 1, correction. Okay, since I'm here kan at Omar's place, so let's look at another question, right? Another question. So check yang ini pula. Usage of phone. Sama Omar. Determine whether gender and the type, right? Okay, yang ni adalah betul. So you are looking at number 2. So anyway, type kan, this on type. So let's check kalau untuk this one. So type. I think this is type N. Let's check whether I got it. Sama dengan yang Umar tak? Yeah. So 5.99. So based on this, decision is to not reject. Okay. So you see, kumpulan Omar, the second question. So step 2, step 3, step 4. Yeah, this is your chi-square test statistic. Yeah, you use this formula and you got this. And yeah, Omar, you cannot write this way, your hypothesis. Tak boleh macam ni, Omar. You kena tulis penuh. Gender and type, not type, yeah. So you need, gender type. Okay, sorry. This is type, yeah. Kan yang usage. So the other one is usage. Okay, this is type. Gender and type of cell phone. Right. But for this one, hypothesis, you tak boleh tulis macam ni lah. You have to write gender and type of cell phone are independent untuk null hypothesis. Alternative hypothesis, gender and type of cell phone are dependent. Okay, and based on the analysis above, and so your critical value is is larger than the chi-square test statistic. Ini bukan t-test lagi ya. So this is chi-square. Chi-square test statistic, bukan t-test lagi. Chi-square test statistic. So decision failed to reject HO. P-value is when you compare, p-value is greater than the alpha. So decision failed to reject HO. So there is no significant relationship between gender and the type of EK. So yang ni biasanya kita tulis ni untuk hypothesis yang ada mean lah, right? For one sample, two sample, PET sample. dan ANOVA. But for chi-square, we just mention yang atas ni, right? Gender and the type of cell phones are not related. Boleh ke, Omar? So this one you correct a little bit. Okay, now we go back to Amira's punya. Get question 2. Amira, question 2 tak ada. Amira, you all didn't show the answer for question 2. So tutorial questions, kita ada question 2, right? Cell phone number 3 kan, 3.1 and 3.2. So kita ada. Okay, so what happened to you all, Amira? Kenapa semua salah ya? Do you have any problem, Amira? Okay, this one question 2 also need to show the answer. Okay, we have discussed all the tutorials. So far, do you have any questions? Any questions so far?
No, madam.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we skip the short break because we are almost done. Okay, now some of you maybe you have tried question number 4. Do you have anything to ask? Yeah, let me try to get the questions first. Yeah, the question. So ada yang dah cuba soalan keempat kan? If you have question, then you can ask. Well, let me try to get the questions. Okay, I found it. Okay, these are the questions. Question setiap orang kena buat kan? Yeah. Yeah, I think we will discuss the answers next 2 weeks when we have tutorial after your mid-sem break. Okay, do you have any questions on this? Ada siapa yang nak tanya soalan? Yeah, these are the questions. Yeah, idea.
Question 2 kat sample chi-square.
Ya, kalau kita baca ni kan, yang ni chi-square. Right, you see dia punya keyword ni, gender and smoking status. Yeah. So association kan, whether sometimes dia tak guna macam gender and the smoking status are related. Dia boleh tanya juga untuk chi-square whether gender and smoking status are associated. Right, dia boleh tanya macam tu juga. So you see this one, you have this this is a sample of 200 kan people that visited a local pub as shown in table below. So perform a hypothesis testing. Okay, any gender, when you have male and female. Okay, so for smoke status, male ada 29 orang. For female ada 16. So altogether, when we combine male and female, smoke status ada 45. Those who didn't smoke consists of 71 from male and 84 from female, right? So a total of non-smokers is equal to 155. Yeah. So if we combine the smoke and non-smoking status, you have 200. Respondent adalah 200. Yeah, dalam sampel ni adalah 200. So you see, you already have this data. So that means you can skip. Contohnya lah, right? Kita pergi ke yang rumah. So
Kena buat pivot table balik kan.
no, you don't have to. You see, yang ni kita buat pivot table kan sebab data adalah banyak, right? So based on that question, you can skip this pivot table. You just straight away go to the observe frequency. Ya, yang kita buat tu, kita buat pivot table adalah sebab, see, kita ada data yang banyak kan? Kita ada data banyak, so kita kena buat pivot table. But for this question, dia dah bagi kita siap-siap. So you just ambil yang ni, and this one becomes your observed frequency, right? So maksudnya you sebelum ni kita kena buat pivot table, you need 4 steps. So sekarang observed frequency is given, so you boleh terus buat. This is the first step, first table, and then next you kena tunjukkan yang expected, and then baru chi-square test statistic. So 3 table yang diperlukan. Boleh kan? Okay, and then yeah, let's look at our lesson plan. Yeah,
Last
yeah. Idea, what's that?
Question 5.
Okay, question 5. Okay, testing whether there is a significant difference in average cycle time to deliver a pizza from pizza company A compared to pizza company B. So this is the data, collected from the sample, untuk company A, company B, right? So what you need to investigate, that's whether there is a significant difference in the cycle time of pizza company A and B. Yeah, this one I let you to think, but you need soalan yang straightforward kan. You need to check apakah objective dia, what do you need to investigate, and then you check on the sample, ada berapa sampel. So apa jenis hipotesis yang paling sesuai untuk question ini. Ya. Bolehkah idea?
I think pet sample lah madam.
Huh?
Yang ni pet sample.
Are you sure? Why do you say pet sample? Why do you say pet sample? Dia tak bagi macam dia tak bagi benda yang lain kan? So you say ada pet sample. Okay, you look at the Ohio kan? Ohio saya ada tak? Okay. So Ohio you see yang ni adalah school district. So you have the writing score and the reading score. So these two are based on the same school district, kan? Okay. Kalau untuk yang pet sample another one, this is Powell Foundation data, estimated and actual. So dua ni adalah based on the same source yang sama. For crime rate, yang ni based on the location, the same location. In 2022, Johor has the crime index of 3.1. In 2023, the crime index increased slightly to 131. So yang ni adalah PET sample because the two values are referring to the same source. Maksudnya dia punya sumber location adalah sama, right? And then we also have this. Yeah, we look at these two sample, right? So kita ada two sample. For example, we have the. Ya, di sini ada alum sheeting and durable product on the lead time, right? So these are the two independent sample. Dia bukan dependent, ya. Okay, and ada lagi tak? So yang ni adalah. This is one sample. So yang ni the same ada untuk two sample. Okay. So this is ANOVA. ANOVA when you have more than two groups. You want to compare on the mean. So mean apa variable dia untuk nak jadikan mean. So di sini adalah dia punya number of hours, ya. Number of hours spent in the vehicle. Right? So this is also independent group, bukan dependent, right? So from here, maybe you have an idea of what is this, right? I don't mention it, but I want you to think of it, right? So you're gonna fikirkan whether this question you need to use PET sample ke atau two sample mean hypothesis. Definitely not ANOVA lah. ANOVA if you have more than two groups, then maybe you use ANOVA. Okay? Right.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Okay. And then, yeah, now let's go to your course info here. So we are in week 6 now, right? Week 7, right? 6, 7 tu kita dah cover semua ni, dah habis. Yeah. And group project briefing. So I've given you the link, yeah? So you need to collect the sponsors. Yeah. Setiap group, each member lah in the group, yeah, you need to collect at least 10 responses. So if you have 4 to a group, kan, so 4 orang dalam satu group, that means you need to collect at least 40, at least, yeah. At least tu maksudnya sekurang-kurangnya, but you can have more than 40. Yeah, when you study statistics, kan, the number, the more the sample size, the better will be the result, right? Kalau if you can do it, you can have more than 40, right? And anyone has the problem with the links, to let me know. And make sure that before you distribute the questionnaire, you check whether the links are according to the group. Yeah, according to your group, right? So kita ada banyak group di sini. You have E5, B1, B2, B3, B4, and then we also have 5A and also marketing. So you please check lah, link tu adalah sama ke tak. Okay, and then yeah. So after your mid-term break, we will look at chapter 6. Yeah, chapter 6. Okay, and for your information, this is your group project, right? I think this is not the time for me to brief it to you yet. So when you come back, when you have collected all the data, right? So kalau you dah collect data dah siap kan? So I give you one week. After mid-term break, so if possible, you need to send me the raw data untuk ketua, untuk group leader. So please download data, the responses in Excel. Yeah, you download here, download Excel, and then you write your name, your group name, and then you send it to me because I need to do the data cleaning. Saya kena clean data dan sebagainya. So I need to make some. I need to edit the data and then send it back to you. Then only you use the data, the clean data to run the analysis. Apa yang you perlu buat adalah, this is the framework, right? So this is your dependent variable, and these are all the independent variables. Okay, so these are the objectives that you need to do. Okay, objective ni, so you see, mungkin saya beri sedikit saja takat yang hypothesis ya. Okay, first you need to run the descriptive statistic lah. Bukan untuk semua variables. You need to choose only 5 variables, including the dependent variable. Okay. Second objective is you need to check if you have to use one sample mean, right? Atau you boleh guna 2 sample mean or one way ANOVA. So for objective B, you can choose 3. You choose one of these 3, right? You boleh guna 1 sample mean, 2 sample mean atau ANOVA. So nak guna yang mana satu, you kena tahulah cara-cara nak buat. Buat benda ni kita dah belajar dalam class and also tutorial. So this is the time that you practice. You use the real data yang you collect sendiri and then you run the analysis, right? So yang tu B. And then C, you're gonna check the chi-square, right? Chi-square di sini saya dah mention specifically. You ambil gender and you choose lah question from C1 to C7, right? And then yang D and E, yang ni belum lagi. Bila kita pergi ke chapter 6, baru kita nampak yang regression ini. So far, this is what I can tell you because it's too early for now, It's too early for now to brief you on this. So what you need to do during the break is you answer your tutorial, hypothesis chapter 5, and then you collect the data onto your group project, nilai group project. Okay, and then these are the formats that you need to do, right? So kita ada analysis semua ni ada hypothesis A and B. Nanti saya akan explain, and then we have ANOVA. Okay, and then I want you to look at this also. You don't, I need to go through this plagiarism check. And you don't have to run the turn it in, I will do that, right? You don't go and purchase anyway. I will do the turn it in similarity index check, right? And then one thing I want you to take note is, okay, in this report, so you need to use the language that is easy for people to understand. So use the natural wording and personal touch when you answer your assignment, right? Jangan guna yang AI yang mungkin you sendiri pun tak faham kan. So yang ni you have to use this the normal, the simple language saja for this project, and also any assignment in MGT555. Yeah. Okay, I think that's all that I want to brief you. Any questions?
No,
No,
madam.
madam.
Okay, thank you for the response. So next week kita ada kelas lah, but then you have some work to do, Kena collect data and then you kena jawab soalan tutorial chapter 5, So yang tu akan membantu you all jawab your group project nanti, and also your assignment 2. I can't give you assignment 2 yet because if you look at here, assignment 2 kan, dia cover sehingga chapter 7. So that means, right, maybe I can give you assignment 2 after your midterm break, so you can answer the question that is related to chapter 5 dulu, and then chapter 7, chapter 6 tu nanti when we have covered that, then you can answer it, so that at the end of the semester, again, towards the end of semester, you don't have to answer everything in 1 week. Yeah, so you can have time to answer the different questions, right? Saya tak bagi soalan yang macam soalan assignment 2, and then you kena jawab semua dalam jangka masa yang pendek. So maybe I can give you the questions first, and then you answer according to our progress lah. So bila kita dah chapter 5, so you boleh jawab chapter 5 punya soalan dulu. And then when we have covered chapter 6, then you jawab chapter 6. And then in week 7, in week 10, by then week 10 atau week 11, kita dah habis chapter 7. So saya bagi seminggu saja, and then you buat chapter 7 soalan, dan terus hantar, right? Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, I think that's all for today. Thank you very much. If you have questions, then you can ask. Kalau tak ada, then I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Ada tak?
No, madam. Thank you, madam.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, enjoy your holiday. I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye and take care, everyone.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, thank you.